Welcome back. Now, every day, nearly 500 million people log on to social networking site Facebook. The website receives 250 million photo uploads daily, and 1 in 5 people on the planet is a registered user. So that's a lot of people. Facebook, social media sites like Twitter and YouTube also revolutionize the way people communicate, but not always for the better. So this morning, we're going to discuss the issue in some detail with our guest, Dr. Adrian Wang, a consultant psychiatrist with Gleneagles Medical Center. Also, Dr. Michael Nedsley, assistant professor at the Singapore Management University, and both are experienced commentators on the subject of social media. And joining them also is prominent Singapore blogger Peggy Heng, who goes by the online moniker Thai Dowager. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the show. Okay, let's start off, a very broad question. I guess, we talk about how online platforms today, everyone is pretty much a part of one of them, but every now and then someone might post a comment at the spur of the moment when they're upset about something. We've had racist remarks, we've had university students posting explicit images of themselves. What do you make of that? Have social media platforms perhaps become some form of exhibitionism, where you're kind of showing off, you think it's cool to show what you have? Who wants to say crack? Adrian?
Well, social media is so ubiquitous now. It's become so much part of our lives. People forget that whatever you say, whatever you do, it's all over. So it's a bit of a bubble mentality. When you're behind your keyboard, you're behind your laptop, you forget that what you say and what you do is viewable by everybody. So you tend to say things or do things that you wouldn't do in a crowded room or in your office or in a party.
Right.
But this is this bubble thing that makes people sometimes shoot their mouth off.
Yeah, so they think they're alone. I mean, well, Peggy, you run a popular blog, and you've posted a lot of pictures about the places you visit, things you do. I mean, what's the reasoning behind that?
The reasoning behind it.
How do you approach your blog? Why do you post? Do you choose selectively what you post online?
Yes, I do select what I have to post online because, well, first and foremost, because my blog is one of my main income, and I wouldn't consider myself a cyber exhibitionist because, well, I'm not doing what I'm doing to seek attention. Yeah, I use it as a strong medium because social media is very powerful. I use it as a platform for both users and advertisers to, use it and, promote their items and for people to receive information. So,
so yours might be a little bit different because, as you mentioned, your blog is your work. So you might go to it, approach it in a different manner. Whereas, I guess, many of us who are at home, you just do it in your free time. What do you think about that?
Well, there could be many reasons. You might simply be proud of something you've done or your kids have done. It could be peer pressure when we think of high school kids sexting one another. In some cases, such as the recent blog incident, it could just simply be bad behavior. There's many reasons why this might be happening.
So we can't really pinpoint it on any one thing. I mean, you're saying it's kind of an individual. Some people may want to use it for this platform or for that. But does it allow, I guess, the platform allows for people to act other than they would in real life?
Very much so, and it's much like what Adrian was saying, it's a bit like road rage, that when you're inside your car, it feels safe to do things you would not do face-to-face. And behind the computer, same thing.
But what happens next? You put something online, people jump on it, they start saying things about it. I mean, Peggy, I'm sure you've experienced this before, where you may put a simple comment about something, and they say, what are you talking about? What do you know? I mean, how do you react to that?
Yeah, exactly. I have to be very sure of what I'm posting. I have to do a lot of researches, and it scares me a little because people comment any way they want to, like whether am I right or wrong. I have to be a role model, and it is difficult on my part sometimes, but I choose to look at it positively and try to get something that, good out of it instead of treating it like, pure insults.
So Adrian, why do people react this way? Why do we feel so brave suddenly when we can go online and just say anything?
Well, like what we were saying, a bit of a bubble mentality. You feel safe when you think you're alone, but also herd mentality. I think sometimes in a discussion forum, you may have encountered a situation when somebody says something, everybody jumps on that and they start attacking a person or somebody will post something. So, it's a large group online. It's more dangerous sometimes than a large group physically.
And all this without actually knowing the facts quite often, because it's just because he said, she said.
That's
and then you just pick a side.
It gets quite emotional sometimes, and people use strong language, and before you know it, there's a chain reaction.
So can the law come into play? Will that help? What do you think, Michael?
Only in worst case scenarios, because what social media has done is it has shifted power into the hands of individuals. So if you try and start creating laws for what we might call bad behavior or bad judgment at a given moment, you're never going to be able to enforce that, and all you're doing is turning citizens into criminals, and that's not good for anybody.
I mean, they've also been saying how the virtual environment is a world by itself. It's not bound by, I'm hosted by another country which may not have these laws. I mean, that discussion is still very much in the air. And I guess when you're online also, is there a form of an etiquette, perhaps, that should be expected? You know, I mean, Peggy, perhaps you can share with us. Do you think people need to know that there should be certain rules that we all abide by when we're online?
Well, I think that the quality of being humane is taught through education. You know, people choose to respect each other if they want to. And because it's online, people can be anonymous and they can choose to do whatever they want, which, well, it can't be restricted online. So far.
Right.
Well, but then again, you know, it will be desirable if, of course, there's an ethical that people can come up with.
So if we all couldn't pretend to be someone else online and had to be ourselves with our pictures, we'd be quite different people probably, right?
Yeah.
So I guess in your opinion, you know, the platforms that we've been seeing, the things that have been happening with people posting racy pictures, using platforms to just do whatever they want. Michael, is there any approach that can sort of help resolve this, especially also because we're looking at it from an Asian culture, right? So in every country, different lines will be drawn.
Exactly, exactly. I think what we need to recognize is that the capabilities provided by these technologies are ahead of what our social norms are going to be. So we need a much larger public discussion. Parents might be on the front line. Institutions such as Ministry of Education, even employers with social media policies, thinking about perhaps even media, I think, can play a key role in helping us reshape what these expectations are going to be.
Okay, but I think a lot of it will also begin at home and how we teach our own children.
Absolutely.
But we have to stop the discussion for a while now. We just need to go for a break. We're going to come back, talk more about it in just a few minutes. We've just been talking about the blurring of lines in the virtual world and how that platform opens up many questions on the conduct of behavior. We will continue the conversation after the break. And also we've got some of the questions you've sent to us on our Facebook page. We're going to put that to our guests as well. So do join us in just a few minutes. We're back after the break.